nawala mo ano. Ano talaga yun?
Ikaw, nakagalag yan ang ganyan.
Opo ko siya buka.
sabon.
Baka. Kaan mo tulog.
Kaya lang.
Kadili Kalakan mo? Restaurant. Kaya kanon din daw karay.
Pork chop mo bilang yun.
Kwenta sa...
Yun lang ikaw eh.
Oo. Raso. O katong adobo manok.
Oo, tulog.
Bukod sa mga...
Ano ko ba? Tulog.
Ay. Asa ba ito? Salada sa...
Saan? Wala?
Kaya ini tubig sila tayo. Ay, dire ka? Ah, dire.
Ayan na.
Lupigan.
Huh? 5,000 receipts na nag-justify mga higala. Kung yun sa paggasto sa Vice Presidente, hanggang umatog mo mga higala ikumpara mo sa confidential fund sa Pangulo. Ha? Now, kung sila niya yung gusto, ang gusto sa prosecution na kumuhaan tayo sa impeachment court,
Ay, Tita Grande, Corso, Bentelisa. Ay, Alja. Tapsoy, 30.
Yang kung ang lipansa ng isang evidensyari document, we have to verify na almost 5,000. Malaki. Ang rason sa prosecution, abi na kinahanglan nili ko ng mga resibo eh. O basta mo na din eh, tanan. Ayaw na nagpipiliya kung nga pa ba may binisagol o sa pati. Basta ka mo mga
Ito na lang yan.
Oo, kamaroon. Ang igastuhan ay Bisara niya, bayunin si Bisa kung palakot,
Matabi talong.
paintip ko si Bisara. No, tingnan mo na ang presiding officer na si Physics Studio. I-informis niya na para na-upload may kopya. Na-upload may chance na muli. Kung kanang mga resibo na wala pa na sa gulit, wala pa adulteration ng mga wala. Ha? Kaya ang gusto sa prosecution, hindi na masatuhan.
Yan na kay Cinco.
Mga resibo niya, bawal yung mga resibo niya.
Teka, nun sa isa to Ribe.
Hindi siya gusto mo dito sa usaho ng resibo.
Ano sabi?
Ha?
Kanon isa dungan.
O paano na sa due process? Na-information mo kung kaya mo hapon ba? Pinaspati. Eh wala pa yung surprise, evidence nila mga igala na pinapamot ang mga documents, mga receipts. Ang gusto sa depensa, usaw-usaw na lang. Eh masig na ali na, kapay pa na din ang inyong mga siguro ang isipo na nulong mga ng 3 hours, mga pa siguro ang mga ginawin nila. Diba? Hindi nila po nila nga, lalo yung hapit si Pumil ng mga resibo nila sa Office of the Vice President, kaya kaman, at diretso ko na tayo, yung decision na, hindi pa pwede yung mga resibo, hindi pisara, o mo, dapat usap-usahin nila, para magkaroon. Ano, kung saan yung resibuan, yata din na ito sa mga maistra ng mga pagkaon, yung resibo, wala yung ipalit na matampal para sa estudyante. Ang kanyang resibo, matravel nila, maglaton, lakay, yung arte, kung sumasakyan, na malikmig na sulina, krudo, ditubig na. Usaw-usaw ito. Ako na namahuan ng mga igala, kuha. Pili na pwede na ito na yun, kami yung sinampang ko. Because ang due process mga igala species. If you try to convict a person, kinahanglan with almost certainty ang inuhang mga ebidensya. Hindi ko kailangan ka ng kataapa lang, ka ng may tao ng kaigala, o ating kaspati, iluso ang inuhang ebidensya.
Nakano sa toyo no? Sige, lemon.
Iluso ng budaw. Kaya sinabuhay pa lang sa prosecution ng kaigala, na-upload ng kayo mga Pilipino na meron daw. Kasi hindi sila ito kailanin. Kwarta mga igala ni Paimong Nabilisara, pero wala nila ito kaya. Ang kwarta ni Paimong sa ilahan na disurod sa malita. Siyempre ang mga Pilipino daw, kung nausan ninyo. Ha? Kaya Nabilisara, pero na. May mga ninyo. Ang inyo.
Kaya yung mga unod ang be? Ang baka lang?
Sa baba.
Kaya unod?
Abutahan pa.
Oo, isa. Baka lang.
Wala yung sama katigulang. Una ka manilhik. Una ka malawan sa kusilingan. Manilhik ka sa kong pagalimon. Bakit daw na natulong ng bakwan? Diba?
Agaw.
Ang asawa demanda kailangan hindi lang ang bata.
Ay, Tita Brandy.
Mag-imbestiga ang asawa.
Agaro sa
Nama ko dito. Dito. Pagkagagano lang siya. Kaya ang bidang sa iyang mana, mas matakot, mas kapapagod sa iyahan. Kaya siya, na asawa, ang iyang nagidong, tricycle driver na bigyan dito siya. Ang nagyado siya, maot niya ang nilimanda ang niya hapana. O pagkaputol sa korte, o sa may iwas korte. He who comes forward must down with the innocence. Diba? Minsan ko mo ang tutok manang yung mga yung justice. Hinahanglan, hindi ko siya.
This time check is brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified, maker of world-class quality prime pathogen. Flexible.
Tubig.
Lakay.
Magaling ang produkto kahit simple ang padalastas, sapat na.
Ice, ice.
Naman po sa inyo. Celine Plus, ang magagawa niya po makabibili na House of Ingredient. Mag-Celine Plus ang pagkakap. Sa Mars, with direct ingredient meditation to relieve sugar and caffeine. Mahalong pagpupol, kalidad lang, sapat na. Champion, tapat po sa inyo. BPI, kailangan mo bago, may BPI dito. Tarex Vitamin B1, B6, and B12. Walang BPI. Tarex ang araw-araw.
Nakahalang ito.
Hanap kung smart at dishwashing face na ang daw ang gamit na tatanggal na rin sa buong bakterya. Television hanap ay smart dishwashing face manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified world-class quality.
Mahalagang paalala, LSD capsule ay hindi hindi dapat yung pagkawat sa ating sakit.
Diretso ang tanong mo. Ang panahon na isang kami sa champion, kinangulan magtipid. Noong nabili ko sa kami ng TV commercial. Ang nakatulong ko sa remote na programa. Ang nagtipid,
Ilan mo madami?
Ilang ika rice?
Tulo.
2 portion na.
ang taas na kalidad. Kaya, malinaw, Pilipinas na champion. Walang pili. Dapat po sa inyo.
Sa Montes, with direct ingredient
Bakit
medication to shoulder, neck, and back pain.
Wala mi naglawirot eh.
Ang new champion dishwashing
760.
dahil ni Chicken o dahil
Say, Mate.
ang champion
Anong
dishwashing
salan?
walang ingredient ang doble at mahirap i-pronounce. Kanina lang sapat na ang garmin, sen at bitin ang bakterya sa basin. Sa new champion dishwashing is easy ang basin. Rin, hindi ka atin, balik ka sa dati. Champion, tapat puso mo.
Ang linis na niya. In fairness, nag-glow up. Budget, so
Saan ba, sir? 30. Oh. Ano ba yan siya? Oh, wala dito ka. Opo na.
Alive din ka. Ayun na guys. It's so yummy.
Sa Facebook. Drink responsibly.
Kaya, takaw na lang pala ako. Eh, ito. Wala ka na yan. Pate. Akay 5. Ngayon ako 5. Yan pa lang tuloy. Ito, labi, ano, ay, pastel.
Silingan.
When the radio plays one catchy song after another, that doesn't it? Almost as good as Sound on Credit Line. With up to 62 days of zero interest and no hour fee. So maybe it's a sign you treat yourself.
Ate Sang.
Download the app now. Salmon. Feels good.
Hi guys.
Ready to experience exciting rewards and luxury gaming with New Star Online and chance to win the multiple daily rewards. From bingo, big wins, and daily bets to daily claim and welcome rewards.
Wakas, nakaulit yung kulay.
Saya?
Wakas, nakaulit yung kulay. Hindi ka nagkakarista.
Family is for persons 21 years old and above. Gambling can be addictive. Know when to stop. Email responsiblegaming@hardcore.ca. Discover the beauty of playing right with New Star Online. Luxury entertainment now in your hands. Gambling is for 21 years old and above only. Gambling can be addictive. Know when to stop. Email responsiblegaming@hardcore.ph.
Mahal mo, dali sa lot. Ay, sa baba ka. Free lang sa baba ka. Ako lang. Dali sa lot. Teka, nung dali. Datang sa dali sa lot. Dali. Teko na isa.
Dokares,
Dokaray.
akin.
Ano yun? Last na yun. Yan ay mga sasawan rin. Sa inyo ha. 50. Mali, 30. Pangsoy, subang manok. Last na,
Nakapaglag ba lang? Ang daming baga ako. Tulad.
Eh, palaw ko sa isang hindi oh.
Nandito kami nga nagipag...
Yeah, palaw ko yan.
Pag inabot kay... Nagpukay ka lang. Ito namin yung palaw. Alam nga yung putang na... Nakano sa mga ato kay Manan. Kamang doon kabuk na rin.
Pero,
Doon kabuk rin. Tapos... Napaka akong kusira.
kaya lang eh. Pero ka lagi, kami ito yung kita no.
Yan yung kita. Doon matok mo kami kayo.
Kung tayo ka labag, duwa ko siya.
Inawat nga na ba? Anong ilabak lang. Kay
Wakas.
Wekas.
Ako siguro mga mo. Rilo. Matrita.
Yan ganda. Tago ka lang dito. Doon ko yung kabuk rin.
May ilan mo yan.
Maganda ya. Tapos lang nga ako. Kahit din nga ito. Ngayon nagdabag-dag na. Mabiling ka na, jacket, tapos shirt, tapos brief na bag, gumapakaga.
Ako ng usok.
Na uso. Yung dahil mo kalagi. Long cargo na shirt, na jacket. Ato, ilabang ko galing rin. Jacket. Mapa niya, kanyado ko gamit.
Ano ba? Kuwara ako.
Noong baka, kaya ito, pero bakit baka, pero play na. Paano, kasi yun ang pag inagalakan na. Yan ang mga litinda. Litinda, tapos, national ID, tapos, pag-ibig pilit na ID.
Kita na tapos.
Ang mukha ko.
Kita mo yan. Ang ID ko na pa. Ang pangatat na ito.
Good morning.
Wow,
Mga isita, ganyan-ganyan.
Kaya yung mga ano, urot lang, yung mga requirement, diba? Radit mo. Ngayon, makamangat na lang yung nilo, 12 pesos ko lang kasi sila. Sige, parang hindi ah.
654 million. Ang itas pa rin ang mga higala.
Okay, guys.
Ang mga Pilipino ang nalipad.
Sabaw na kayo brad, 1
Kakaisa ka sa bawang kasi wala.
na nakapilo. Bukan ba ito ano? Ilang mo ko din na baka yung sabaw. Baka meron lang yun. Luganan naman yung tatlo.
Tadan yun. Anong pagtaran lang yun eh?
Tablak buwan daw tatanan.
Ayos eh.
Nalitaw na nga mo.
Kung pa nang abo na pampa mo. Kung
Ito ako kayo.
pala yung pagsubong. Hindi ko baya lang mag-tibo. Ano ba kayo? Ba? Dalay daw ko daw laptop na.
Ah, may kaya?
Ha?
Pagpit?
Ha?
Pagpit?
Pagpit?
Ha? Tamangin si Rupar na iya kaya lang kamay ko.
Nani to? Nani pare?
Gano'n, mapasok ba yun?
99?
Naputi na.
Wag lang ka 5-6 na yan. Pagbabak kaya nung birthday ni Mayming kagabi. Kaya si Tinta naman ang edad ni Mayming. So, yan ka na ni Kauto, 1956. Amen. Pagbalansi mo. So, si Tinta na yung edad, so 1956 yun. Tao kahit 2026 makita naman.
Gang! Gang!
Porte mo. Ano tinono?
Ang kalendabi ko kung dito ako pa na ako, sobrang libo. Doon mo ko lang ano, sobrang libo pa yung puli ko lang. Naman doon, 350 na akong tayo ako.
Ano kung di mo kasi nandun man ang ito daw.
And Teresa.
Ang puro di kumanggo, tsaka gato 50, pinakawa ko 50. Kaya mo dumaw, yan 50. Hindi na ako mag-lock na, kaya ako manawa ko sa akin. Ya. Patekala ako.
Kaya pa ni Mauling ka.
Maramit na ba ako? Tambal ba daw mo? Tambal ba ito lang? Ubak na. Kaya nga.
Alam mo ko ganyan pa rin kada mo. Itong baho lang.
Bahuwa to.
Sa ko yun. Itong baho.
Malumbo pala yung nakupa.
Ako pala ako kay Bat. Ano kamangon niya ang suki.
Bed na kasi.
Yeah. Kamu ang kuha mo ka na.
Lagi ka ikaw. Ikaw.
Si Lopez.
Sa karay siya, no?
Ano nito na pe? Ano nito na pe?
Salok. Ay, pakaray.
Tego ba? Dami sa akin dito.
Ah, bakit?
Tama rin, no? Kalimot ko?
Wala lang yung tubig. Ay.
Kaya. Kaya karay sa kaya.
Dalawa.
Dito, sa ako, di ba? 50-50, sabi. Pili mo lang siya. 2.50 o ka na yan. 1 lang kami. Kasi ko 50 dati. Ay, nalang din, nato din rin. Gatos. Talaga. Siya.
Wala na ka lang biya-biya.
Ayaw na, butang-butang na mga.
Ay, kasi. Ay, Choy. Si Bus Choy. Auntie Brandon, Talisa, Audra, Kozake. Uy, so ikaw, my God. It's so It's so hard. Pila na yun? Asa? Ano na? 30. Saan daw? Ha? Ami ka sa sige dito, be. Asa mo na din ang darem ganda? Kasi lang mga points ang okay dito ang mga points. And talong. Pabalot ka, rice? Where? Hello, Alex! Alex! Talo mo na isa ni Alex din. Dali, dali, dali! Alex, dali! Alex! Igutom na na din. Special manok. Wa na, Alex! There's a huge stock animal on top of the TV. I just thought this is, what's that? Ah, okay, at the top of the TV. Ah, this one! Course of it, it's a pillow, yeah. It's a hot dog pillow. I think this is tiger or lion. Si Alice, ako na na? Ay, nako. You're going to work today, Korsabe? Yes, Auntie Lisa, 7 buy-in left. I hope we finish early today. Why?
rescuers who then brought a canine up there for search and rescue to continue, and it was inside of the crowd around the pen character stand as our signal has been very shaky as folks have just gotten the cell signal back here, so they're rushing out this position to tell their loved ones that they're okay and obviously to take in what's happening in their community. But they have been really quiet the past few minutes as they were continuing their search, hoping that potentially they were going to hear what is believed to be a young girl and an older woman still inside this rubble. And may now resume the you've got health schools. Yes, our first responders, you've got folks who are wearing proper uniforms, but then there's people who are just community members who are stepping in as a lot of people who are wearing motorcycle credentials. That just brings the baseball bats. Others, even though just trying to move things and do what they can, and that's what they do in the They also have larger equipment that is in place for this training. We've seen this in several of the different city blocks. We're seeing more for a lot of and so basically what they've been doing is they've been bringing tanks of gasoline to these locations, and they can keep going for 24/7. They don't have to stop. And they can do it at this point. I mean, this goes right there. More than 24 hours here now, just over. And we're out there too. Several of the folks who are out there now, they were also here. I think he was screaming and voices. That was excited. Now the only noise.
Hi, Tita Deb. Thank you for sending stars and sparks.
around added assistance and whatever they need to call them. But this is
Ah, solar ito.
one location, many in this one of, if not the hardest hit. And when we were coming in, I mean, it's an 8-hour drive from over back because flights weren't going. How much SIS, first responders, are not able to take care of. Flights were going because the infrastructure of the airport couldn't take them. Coming in last night, so we decided to drive on the road with us for several other first responders and added resources that were being trucked in and moving through very quickly winding mountainous roads at high speeds to get here urgently. We got that sense of urgency, and people now moving there as much as they can, also wanting to watch. And this is and yet this is another aftermath.
And you know, after watched this with you, David, it was how we can see that go to there on the street, not used to go, we all know that the first 48 hours following an earthquake is critical in order to get people out alive. We know that state of emergency has been declared, especially in terms of getting to the remote areas where you are in Pacific Rim.
It seems that at least, you know, in our being able to come through as quickly as we were able to, and the roads were clear, the pathways were clear, and they could bring those resources. So that's a testament to already what's being made at a national level to try to make it so that it's a smooth entry into the harder hit points. Now, I will say that kind of surprised me is on the outskirts of Atlanta, for example, I was struggling to see where the damage was. It's not into the city of the highly populated areas. That's the infrastructure that predates even the 1979 workforce. Certain infrastructure.
Ay, sa Colombia, manibigo ka to earthquake. Oh, 132 killed after powerful earthquake strikes at Colombia. Ano ka, uy, ginoo ko. Ano ko, nahulog ko. Apay chapsoy. Kenwa. Anak, ay baka na siya. Carlo. Ito ang rice balot. Saan ka naman?
Susunod na.
Okay. Dapat ito wala na. Hindi, nung ang ganin mo. Ano ko?
Possible for the newly elected government from Abelardo del Espriella, the new president of Colombia, who was sworn in just on Friday. Monday morning was meant to be his first day on the job. 7:30 a.m. the earthquake.
It embraced more tough news to hear as they continue to search that local step it up. Thank you so much for that.
This morning, officials say at least 132 people have been killed and hundreds more injured in Monday's
Let's
devastation.
eat, guys. Breakfast.
That toll is almost certain to rise. Just terrifying scenes in Colombia. You are looking at the building collapse, and this seemed to go on forever. Dozens of buildings collapsed as the shaking continues. Hospitals were damaged, 7 airports shut down. Officials are urging people to any building that shows signs of structural damage. Troops have been deployed to help with the ongoing search efforts that are happening at this hour. That includes a hospital in Cali where patients have been trapped under debris. CNN's Carolina Rivera is following the latest developments for us. What are you learning and where are you at this hour?
Good morning, Sarah. Well, as these search and rescue efforts happen in Colombia, here in South Florida, we're at one of the most focal points of donations, a center called Global Empowerment Mission, where you can see there's already boxes of donations that were originally and still are for Venezuela. This place has been known to help during natural disasters. They helped right after the earthquakes struck in Venezuela, and now they're going to do the same and doubling up on their efforts for Colombia after the 7.4 earthquake magnitude struck the nation in various parts of Colombia, and where we're learning today that there's also another center where they're receiving donations and where they're asking the community to also help as volunteer in this effort.
It is already deployed a team. They're already on the ground. They will be assessing one of the various ground zeros because the devastation is vast and it covers a large geographical area. So we will actually have multiple teams in different areas assessing the need and getting aid to those that need it most very, very quickly.
expected to rise as well as the injured. We know at this hour.
7.4 lang din siya dahil lalo ito yung Colombia.
Injured in Colombia. There is expecting to be more help to be deployed to Colombia. In the meantime, here they're asking for non-perishable items, canned items, medical first aid kits, and also any cash donations that can help for the next coming hours and days expected also for Venezuela and Colombia.
All right, let's begin this hour with the devastating aftermath of a 7.4 magnitude earthquake in western Colombia. Some incredible pictures there. You see panic-stricken people running for safety. Some could be heard praying out loud. Officials say at least 132 people have been killed. 60 of those deaths were reported in one city alone. A total of 5 major cities. The quake collapsed dozens of buildings, damaged hospitals, and also shut down 7 airports. The country's geological survey says that the quake is the strongest in the Colombia region in the century. And the epicenter was located in the Choco region near Colombia's Pacific coast. Local officials there urging people to evacuate buildings showing signs of any sort of structural damage. We are looking at it showing the church crumbling to the ground as people cling to one another to stay on their feet. Colombia's new president, who just took office on Friday, has declared a state of national disaster.
We are confident that with God's help and support of the new government, we will be able to overcome this terrible ordeal that today has plunged all of Colombia, and of course the people of Choco and Demonia. Let this be an opportunity to tell the country that Choco will never again be the forgotten land.
Let's go live to Rome now and see that Stefano Pozzabar live from Rome. Stefano, you reported for many years out of Colombia. You know the region very well. Where are you hearing about the latest rescue efforts?
Well, unfortunately, the latest we're hearing, Polo, from Colombia, from Cali in particular, which is the largest city impacted by this earthquake. It's the third largest city in Colombia. And at around 7 a.m. Here in Rome, so 6 a.m. 1 a.m. sorry, local time down in Colombia, the mayor of Cali, Alejandro Herrera, updates the death toll to up to 85 people killed by this terrible earthquake that affected and impacted Colombia at 7 a.m. local time on Monday. What we're hearing is, of course, that the search and rescue operations are ongoing. The fact that the earthquake took place so early in the day, 7 a.m., just as people were getting out of their homes for the rush hour and getting into work, of course, gave the first responders a whole day to try to make sense of the situation. And right now, it's of course the race against time to try to locate and rescue as many people as possible. Take a listen to one paramedic in particular.
The situation is delicate because there are still people trapped. There are about 4 people trapped in this building. They have already pulled one out. They're about to pull out another, and then one more after that.
They pulled one out.
Cream sticks jumbo. Jumbo size. Kaya, more to enjoy. Sarap. Cream sticks. Imagination mo ang limit.
24 thousands of pictures. Preliminary reports from Colombia suggest that perhaps the damage is not as big and not as devastating. But of course, the authorities are trying to mobilize as many resources as possible to the first responders and to try to bring as many people as possible into safety. Follow?
And we do thankfully begin with a joyous moment and an incredible rescue in Colombia. This brand new video, just in the CNN, of a baby being rescued. Now, when you see there exactly how tiny the baby is, this is Cali, one of the areas hardest hit by Monday's deadly earthquake. The man who took this video says he heard the building collapse and another man calling for help saying, "I'm over here, I'm with a baby." And also says he and 6 others were able to pull the baby out before the emergency responders arrived. Now, in the devastated city of Parara, Rescue workers and volunteers there formed a human chain. You see them there to try and clear away chunks of debris. They are racing against time to find people trapped underneath what was an apartment building there. CNN's David Culver has more now on this painstaking rescue.
They believe a little girl is still inside this building. That's the sense of urgency that has got dozens of folks now on top of what was an apartment building, 4 stories high. On the ground floor, according to neighbors, there's a drugstore and a restaurant. It obviously is now left in just total rubble, and they're trying to clear a lot of that. And this was a main street that went around this central square. That's totally covered. They've got a massive crane here and a lot of other resources that are coming in. And they've been fueling this by bringing tanks of gas to this location to keep it going over the past 24 plus hours so that this operation hasn't had to stop. But you can see there's a lot of focus now on one area in particular. We've been watching this over the course of an hour or so, and it's gone from moments of total silence, even the crowd around has been totally quiet and trying to allow them to listen for whatever sounds they might hear from beneath the rubble. They were told throughout the night they could hear some sounds, even yelling at times, according to one neighbor who was out here. That has stopped, and yet it hasn't slowed down their focus on its building. I mean, this is a city, Pereira, that is one of the, if not the hardest hit from this earthquake. And when we drove in from Bogota, it took us about 8 hours because flights were canceled out of Bogota. And you go through a very mountainous, winding path to get here, and passing us at high speeds were several first responders and resources that were trying to get possible to bring aid and to assist in what is a massive effort here. I mean, this is one area of this city. You go block after block after block, and you will see similar scenes of destruction and similar efforts of search and rescue where they will go from one location to another with teams, canine units, to try to figure out what they can do in that moment to potentially save lives. When it comes to this building behind me, one neighbor told me that over the course of the past day, they were able to pull out 7 people altogether. 3 of them had passed away, the other 4 survived. And they're just hoping at this point that the little girl, who they believe is still inside there, along with another older woman, that they can get them out safely.
David there really giving us a good indication of the scope of the challenge on the ground. Now, Colombia's president is ordering financial relief for victims of Monday's earthquake. He announced that people who lost their homes will be given financial support to rent temporary housing and will also get help to repair and rebuild. Edward Guevara, the senior officer for global security at Project Hope, and he does join us now from Colombia. It is good to speak to you as you're on the ground. Just let us know what you're coping with there and what you believe the needs are. And is it still the priority here in the next 24 hours to try and rescue as many people as possible?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. Good to hear you.
Absolutely, we can hear you. Go ahead, Edward.
Wonderful. We arrived on the ground this morning. We did have one of our staff members who lied to Cali, who went through the whole experience. And immediately after that started where she went out and looked at the state of the clinics, the hospitals, which is our main focus in emergencies such as this. Honestly, what your reporter is suggesting in Pereira, or showing in Pereira, is spread over a huge distance within Cali, which is the largest city, in different neighborhoods within the city. For ourselves at the moment, we need to do this needs assessment to look at where we can focus our efforts, and at the moment we'll be looking at the public healthcare clinics, which, if you can imagine, the hospitals and the clinics within buildings as well get damaged. When they get damaged completely or even partially, it makes them inoperable. And so what happens over these next few days is that as people need assistance, the hospitals get swamped, and then the clinics aren't able to assist. In terms of where we are at the moment, to your point about which phase we're in, We're definitely still in the rescue phase at the moment, as your reporter was explaining and showing. This happens at a very local level with the solidarity of the people, and also, organisations and institutions, government institutions doing the rescue. And in these next 2 days, which is critical, this is where most of the rescue attempts will be focused at the moment, and then we start moving into the recovery phase.
From what you've seen, and I know you have some experience in this, the government is rushing resources, civilians are on the ground there. Do you believe they have enough at hand right now to deal with those who are injured and obviously anyone that can be rescued in the next 24 hours?
I mean, I can't speak to, again, I go back to geographically, this is very different from Venezuela, where we were, obviously, and still are, immediately after the event, where it was very local, extremely intense damage in very localized areas. This is spread out, so where your reporter is about 200 kilometers north of where we are in Cali, and that's not including now the other side of the mountain range towards the Pacific Ocean, where the epicenter was. Again, which is another 1,600 kilometers, depending on which point you want to get to. Obviously the Colombian government has responded very quickly. Organizations are coming in, but at the moment, as in all these cases, you get a huge community effort to, obviously, because they're there, to help drag people out, and that's where we are at the moment. There we are backfilled by the organizations and the governments as they start getting into position.
Yeah, I mean, in the videos we're watching, they're working at a frenetic pace there. Obviously, people have been hearing people under the rubble, and they understand exactly what they're up against and trying to make sure they get the survivors out. You mentioned Venezuela. I am wondering what you observe there in terms of the enormity of the challenge in front of Colombia now. And I know completely two different locations, earthquake circumstances. But I mean, in Colombia, they warn us they haven't even really been able to reach the remote areas that were close to the epicenter.
Yeah, as I said, this is on the other side of one of the Andes split into three in Colombia. And the most western range is very remote. As your report was saying, people get from Bogota to Pereira was winding through the mountain roads. So to get even further over the mountain roads to what is already a very
Hindi naman natin kailangan
okay lang yan. Pwede naman natin i-check ang mga available loan offers para sa atin at video kung ano lang kailangan yung extra na nahihirap natin. Kailangan sa bahay ka. And ako na yung mas naman ang pinatod sa Cashify.
Medyo kinakabahan ako sa mga limit na yun.
Naintindihan mo, get easy register ng Cashify, pero sure na safe at legit. Tapos, makakapag-apply ka na fully online gamit ang mobile number at valid ID mo.
Talaga? Sige nga, tingnan natin kung magkano ang available loan offer para sa atin. Excited na ako makita ang magkano ang pwede loan offer sa atin.
Kung gusto mo rin mag-apply, click mo na ang link sa baba.
For people to die, and what we have been seeing is crews here in Pereira as they move debris. They're looking for survivors, people who actually have been calling out overnight. CNN's David Colbert is on the scene, watching all of this as it happens. He's joining us now to talk a little bit about it. David, tell us what you've been seeing.
The Delco rushed first responders from here in Pereira, trying to figure out how much closer they can get. They were moving off and positioning themselves to be able to pull out anyone who could have been stuck within that rubble. And you can see this is just one of the ambulances just backed in. And they're ready with stretchers closer towards the
23 years ago.
You can see also,
I'm turning 40 or somewhere. I'm old.
all of these folks are volunteers. And when we got here a couple of hours ago, this didn't exist at all. They started to mobilize people, realizing that they were hearing a response to the calls
I was
from
fourth
within
year high
the
school
concrete
that
slab.
time.
So all of these people just like rushing out. And you can
23
see now
years
this line
ago,
continues all the way past the intersection, and they were struggling to even get people to move that car. So they
Design
just
ng Teresa.
dumped the buckets of concrete and metal on the other side onto the sidewalk just to continue to extend it away from the source, from what was an apartment building, 4 stories high on the ground level, a restaurant. And we're told, at least by a couple of the locals here, that they believe that there's a young girl that's still trapped inside, an older woman that was described by one business owner just at the corner here. Others have said that there's more people here. We know in the past 24 hours or so that they pulled out 7 individuals, 3 of them did not make it. The other 4 are being treated and seem to be survivors in this as of now. Now, here in Pereira, I mean, this is a city that, just to put it in context, it's about a 500,000 population. So you got Minneapolis, Raleigh, North Carolina, it's sizable. Like, this is one plaza that we've been focused on, but we've driven to several different parts of the city center, and damage is on almost every street. And if you're able to even actually pass through a street, you'll see the facade. Let me just try to turn around here just to give you a sense. We're still keeping tabs on the rescue efforts. If this kind of gives you a sense, looking at the facade up there, you can see that that's a totally exposed apartment. You can see bedding and a family's kitchen, and all of that, of course, has crumbled down onto the street. A lot of that has landed on vehicles, so it's quite widespread within this city. And as you can see now, I mean, I just want to point your attention to what's been kind of going on and off. There are moments where they will mobilize like this, and you can hear the glass and the rubble being dumped onto the pavement. And then in the air, and they will call for silence. And that happens every 2 minutes because they're once again trying to see if they can get a response from within. We've heard a lot of cheer, there's a lot of excitement.
Oh, sabi, are you near at Shiba?
Rushing towards this,
Shiba.
carrying stretchers.
You're near at
Shiba. Stopped, and they then brought in utilization of this crane once again, and they started to hoist up some of the massive slabs of concrete. All of this, these people are covered up. They're wearing masks. They're trying to cover their face because of anything that they could be exposed to. More than anything, it's intense brutal heat. And yet they're out there trying to stay hydrated, trying to stay mobilized. And now you can see they're even moving to this side here, trying to get out of their way. But they're trying to just continue the movement of what was an apartment building and is now essentially being disassembled onto the street and into the intersection. This has been going on now through the night. We were told that in the middle of the night, one of the reasons that they decided to bring in even more first responders was they were hearing yelling at one point. That yelling, at least when they were rescinded, is no longer audible. It's exciting, but there is still enough of a response that they've been getting in some of these intermittent moments that has obviously kept them continually trying to search for whoever may be trapped within that space. We were in another plaza not too far from here earlier today, and there was another situation where I looked up and I saw 2 buildings right in between a massive space, and you realize as you look down, that building too is collapsing. I mean, this is happening in several parts of this city, Brianna, and right now I think folks are adrenaline from what they felt yesterday starting to subside, and you've got a mix of confusion and trying to process it. One guy said, you know, as of now, it's just, you want to have hope, but also you're realizing there's just so much to overcome.
We begin this hour with the intense rescue mission underway in Colombia after the strongest earthquake to hit that country in more than a decade. CNN teams are on the ground right there as professional search teams and volunteers work hand in hand to find survivors. Here's what we know so far. At least 224 people have been confirmed dead. Hundreds more are injured after entire buildings came crumbling down. Now is Mississippi's time to find any survivors who may still be trapped. In the midst of this tragedy, though, there are signs of hope. Like this one, just a short time ago, the Bogota Fire Department shared video of a dramatic rescue. A 34-year-old man was freed from rubble after being buried under a mound of debris. Joining us now to discuss is Richard Emblem. He's the director and founding partner of the city paper Bogotá. Richard, thank you so much for being with us. Walk us through the current emergency response and where things stand.
Well, right now, the death toll has leveled off temporarily at 224. There are still 200 persons missing and 1,300 persons injured. Now, Bogotá has dispatched over 80 emergency search and rescue teams, first responders, and medical professionals specialized in different areas of healthcare to try to provide the utmost support to the most vulnerable and those who are currently injured. Now, the emergency response, most of the highway and infrastructures are operating, airports somewhat sketchy in the city of Cali and Pereira. However, the government has also dispatched its entire cabinet to the different cities of the coffee region and Valle del Cauca. So there was a presence right there of the ministers, the Interior Minister, the Vice President, the Minister of Housing, the Minister of Health. So there's quite a large contingent right now of the government in each zone to oversee the emergency rescue operations. Now, it's been now more than 24 hours since the earthquake struck, early in the morning on Monday, and we are seeing that over the last 24 hours, a lot of solidarity and civic engagement in the rescue operations. So as far as the immediate response has been very consolidated, there is many Bogotanos and people across Colombia, Medellin, are donating or making huge donations of water, canned goods, medicines, blankets, and essential supplies for those who last night were out on the street enjoying a very cold and desperate night.
You mentioned donations of medicine. Yesterday when you were with us, you mentioned that there would be an immense need for blood, especially for the large numbers of those injured. I wonder how hospitals are dealing with the surge and whether it's testing their capability.
Well, President Abelardo de la Estrella, who really has not even completed a first week in office, he ordered that all injured persons who could not have access to adequate medical help be transported to the Colombian capital here in Bogotá. So Medellin is actually taking a large brunt of the injured who work in the Department of Chocó, and those in Cali who cannot be attended to are being transported right now to Bogotá. However, we have seen that the Colombian Medical Association has informed that as many medical professionals from Bogotá can actually be on the ground in these hard-hit cities, especially in the Coffee Triangle, to give immediate assistance from the most basic to complex surgeries. So it's been, I think today we're seeing quite a high level of hope that the government is standing by the Colombian people. We also expect that maybe the death numbers to stabilize tragically above the 200 mark and not too much higher, and that many of these missing persons will be recovered, or unfortunately will just be added to the death toll, which would be significantly tragic, but at least now we know that the numbers are reflecting an accurate measure of the magnitude of this disaster.
Yeah, how great is the concern that there may be more buildings that potentially fall that crumble, because many of them structurally, though they may on the exterior appear sound, we're hearing about 70 plus aftershocks. Is there a widespread concern that there may be more buildings still to fall?
Absolutely, and I think this is a very key question, Boris, because what you see on the exterior doesn't necessarily reflect the building code or the building infrastructure. So I think the topic now will be having to find adequate shelter or living accommodations for so many thousands of people scattered across this large, rugged, fractured terrain. The Colombian government has already sent out building inspectors. But even if there's one fissure in your building in Cali, it would essentially make the entire complex or skyscraper unworkable or uninhabitable. So this is, I think, going to be a really big challenge for the next week. is how to get people into adequate shelters. I think Colombians overall will be very solidarious and open up their homes. There will be, schools and shelters where people will be able to spend the night, churches, community centers. However, that does not replace the fact that your building could be on the verge of collapse. And this is going to be unfortunate. One of the realities of this post-earthquake scenario, that where do you accommodate in the short term thousands of families? We're talking about almost 60 buildings alone in Pereira that have suffered structural damage. Now, a lot of the housing in the more impoverished regions of Colombia, in the Department of Chocó, are made of basic materials, wood, bamboo, so those have fared relatively well. However, that does not mean that by any means possible that they don't also require protection and state intervention. So I think this is what we're looking at now. Those are going to be the really big challenges ahead this week for Colombia as we try to allocate decent and livable accommodation to so many thousands impacted by this quake.
Richard Emblem, thank you so much for your analysis from Bogota. I just want to let our viewers know these are live images we've been watching in Pereira, where you see large crowds gathered. They've been trying to move rubble there for hours now, trying to get out of the way over indications that there may have been someone still alive underneath one of the buildings nearby. We've seen intermittent movement, not only of debris, but then also calls for silence, and then recently a call for evacuation as heavier equipment was brought in to move some of this rubble. We'll of course keep an eye on this situation. CNN's David Colbert is nearby, updating us with the very latest. We'll bring it to you as we get it. Bria?
CNN is on the ground in Colombia, where crews are racing to find survivors in the wake of a devastating earthquake that hit the western part of that country yesterday. At least 224 people have died, and hundreds more have been injured. Right now, what you're looking at, the crews attempting to rescue someone buried in the rubble. We want to listen to what's happening on the ground. Again, this is coming to us live right now. On what we're watching right now. The rescuers are asking the crowd to be silent so that they can figure out if the person they believe they're rescuing is responding. We'll keep on.
my niece she is from Chiba. She lives in Chiba, Tokyo. I think part of the Tokyo. The Chiba. She lived there at Chiba. This one, Kizarazu Shiba. My niece. She lives there. I think this is part of the Tokyo. Okay, you're from Nagoya. Nagoya? Kaluyot na nanak eh. Hi, Mami Beth and Christy.
The rescuers are working with very rudimentary equipment, trying to see if they can rescue somebody who they believe is there. We've heard them say Mia, who believes is David Culver is on the ground, working to protect the control room. But in the meantime, this is a remarkable effort that we see after this devastation that is going to take some time to recover from. And the most important thing is not just recovery, is rescue, which is underway as we are watching this live coming from the cooking device.
Yes. Zarazu. Yes. Okay, go.
Walk around now, the sister in the air, they're asking for silence.
Anon may sakto nga balot.
They had one thing in another pod, but they were hearing trying to break apart. It's this one piece of concrete. I mean, this is actually one of the higher floors that you're looking at, because you can see what was their tile and everything. It just came down 4 stories, and that's what they're trying to break apart now. Is that now the top layer that's essentially stealing everyone, and now they ask for silence again. I'll just point your attention to over here to the side where it's picked up again. You have, again, these folks who have jumped in. And you can see they're wearing everything from athleisure wear to shorts, tennis shoes. They're not prepared for this. The gloves have been handed out by volunteers, and yet they're stepping in to help, determined to try to do something to contribute. You can see it. So many people are standing as onlookers, how uncomfortable they felt watching this and feeling like they couldn't do anything. One man said he just felt powerless, and there was a clicking of emotion. But there's a lot of confusion to it. And you can see that because there's a lot of ups and downs with it. Now they're asking people to move out to get to more space. They see this emotion cycle, so they can have more stillness and quiet closer to where they are. If we can move back to what we can call them not be in the area that they're trying to focus on getting. Right there. Might be checked with you, but there's a gentleman in a black hat, black t-shirt, yellow gloves sitting at the far left. He's kind of taking command of this. And it's not clear if he is potentially a first responder or a community member, but he will often try to coordinate the crowd, if you will.
Programs ang get credit sa pagkukuha. Mas muna sa level 4 performance excellence sa Philippine Quality Award for international accredited as University Network Quality Assurance.
Now they're asking people to mobilize again to continue onward. So watch the crowd again jump in. It looks like there's also a movement of the crane that they brought on site, and they've been fueling this crane by bringing tanks of fuel to this location so it doesn't have to move and it can continue going at all hours. It's possible to try to move a larger piece of the concrete slabs. Yeah. So first responders come in level. And it is worth putting in perspective. I mean, this is one of several pockets across the city that is experiencing search and rescues like this. It does feel like though a lot more of the attention right now has come to this location, and it's perhaps because they have heard in the past hour or so response from within that bubble. Calma, venga. Calma, sal, venga. This is a firefighter here. Mira. crates in the back carrying canines, so we'll see if it'll be utilizing them there. Okay, now they're continuing to expand this process of trying to clear the rubble. I mean, when we got here, none of this row of concrete steel existed. They have expanded this out, and they're continuing to move people along.
Sino pa nga nagsindi? Bakit sindi?
Right, you are looking at, pictures are a little bit fuzzy, okay, we have a clear view now, live pictures in Pereira, Colombia, where we have for the past 45 minutes or so been witnessing what we believe to be a rescue operation taking place. This is a residential building that apparently collapsed on Monday at around 7:30 during that 7.4 magnitude earthquake there in Colombia. We have just been listening to David Culver really narrate to us what is happening. We were seeing rescue crews essentially using pickaxes, using their bare hands to tear at concrete slabs. We explained that there was a human chain being formed. I'm not sure if you can still see it in the corner of the screen there. There was a human chain that a lot of locals essentially gathered to help rescue crews move the concrete away from that disaster. One of the challenges with this kind of operation is that some of the people who might be trapped are really very, very, very deep. No one knows exactly where survivors might indeed be in this building. David Culver, reported on ground, essentially saying that authorities were looking for a young girl who might indeed be trapped, as well as possibly her grandmother as well. He was also saying that there were 7 people who were taken away from this building, so 3 of them have passed away. 4 of them are still alive and taken to hospital. But we have been seeing periodically a lot of emotion, a lot of cheering, a lot of essentially excitement. So a lot of people had been
Sige lang na siya kaluya. Oy, hadan.
that there was indeed
Sige lang kaluya ba?
now to our colleagues from CNN domestic
Sige lang katulog. Sige ka, muro ni si katulog.
Demolished buildings in mere seconds. At least 224 people have died.
Survivors who may still be trapped.
Oh, ginoo.
On the scene, the rescue operations. Let's listen. It sounds like we're getting some video beginning to maybe over the last few moments of this scene. We've seen sort of stoppage and patience on the way for the sound of anyone maybe trapped underneath that rubble. We've seen crews, as you see there, shifting all kinds of debris.
Uy! Sipag ka, boy? Kato! Manok talong. Manok talong. Isa-isa lang! Isa lang! Marag ko ka, Africa.
You actually filed this moments ago, this report where I played for the situation as we get updated on the situation. What's happening?
Kamusta?
We have seen scenes like this scattered throughout. This is one of the hardest to get in. We're a little bit closer here because it was trying to actively search for folks. And you can see it's covered down the street. They brought in a crane. They've had to bring in a fuel truck directly to the crane just to keep the operations going. And
Mama, sila malapit. Nasa inyo? Ikaw, may butang sa Nana, bali mo. Nakita niyo siya? Yun ang pangunahan natin siya.
Just like us, who have jumped in to try to help them come back. To do so. And they're hoping to get to the areas that they believe that they be able to find.
Ba! Saba!
To stay out of the way.
Asus na ba? Ay! Saba! Baboy! Isulod ko an. Karang pakiring-kiring ba na? Ha? Hi, Uncle Mulder's! Good morning, Uncle Mulder's. Your new camera, Uncle Mulder's, I love the position.
Personnel coming in from the capital that where we were coming in from, and they were going at really high speeds, just trying to get with all the equipment and resources they had to this location, to the systems. As you can see, it's exhausting. And at this point, I mean, the numbers suggest 55 or so who have died in this city alone.
What do you mean, Uncle Mulder's?
Overnight, they saw 6
Present day?
in this area. So they're not confident that they're going to stay back.
He's actually on the scene there, and we're taking some pictures from the camera that is there with him. He had been reporting that this was a 4-story building, and that neighbors and friends have been hearing overnight calls from people inside of it. That's why you're getting this real sense of urgency from people there as they are trying, with any tools that they have, to try to get in there. I think we've established our connection with David over who is there at Infinite. David, tell us a little bit about what you've been witnessing here as you've been going from scene to scene and spending quite a lot at this particular one where it seems that people are very hopeful that they can get some folks out.
The subscription, you mean the Benji channel? Okay, your subscription of Benji channel.
Then trying to push it off to the side, and we've got 3 ambulances that have made their way in. And all of that is coming from down the source. Right down there.
circumstances right now. Again, we'll keep you posted on what happens here and taking back David Porter, Nevada, Colombia, as we learn more. Happening right now back in the United States, the next big test for
Crews are racing to find survivors out in traffic. Level 5 cities close to the epicenter remain on red alert. Our David Culver is on the ground in one of the hardest hit areas. Connections are hard, but he was able to send us this report.
Sarah, how do you see scenes like this scattered throughout? This is one of the hardest areas. I want to be a little bit closer to it because it is once again in trying to actively search for folks within what was and you can see it's covered now this entire street. When they're running a crane, they have to bring a food truck directly to the crane just to keep the operation down. And that's what people who have friends living in this apartment building, and they say that they would be yelling all the time. And that's not only firefighters and first responders, but just locals who have jumped in to try to help in some capacity. And those who have the proper gear to do so. And it's the issue of these buckets, and they're trying to steer as much money as possible. And they're hoping to get to the areas that they're released, and they also come in.
Welcome to Rants TV!
Hi guys, nandito po tayo ngayon sa kahabaan ng Marikina River. Please samahan po ng update dito sa dito po tayo sa segment ng Barangay Santoya ng Pasig City. Yung sa tapat naman po natin ay Barangay Babangayo in Quezon City. Ito po yung update natin today, August 10, 2026.
Ay, no worries, Uncle Mogers. Okay, Uncle Mogers. The video of the solar eclipse. Sige, nagkatagal ng ikron din.
Oh my god.
Sa Illinois, Indiana.
Oh my god.
So going.
Oh my god.
Look. Project siya din, no? Pagka ng container ng kabalay. Lah! Ginukon. Nagko lagi kayo ng mga kuwan. Mga punuan. Oh, gahi kayo na pulo. Tumbag ako. Love, video ka dyan. Kung bakit siya ba, no? Dugaya po silang ano firefighters eh.
Samot na diri.
Ha?
Samot na diri, maurot na yung balay.
Severe storms struck broad areas of Illinois and Indiana, particularly around the Chicago metropolitan region, rural county, Lake County. The storms brought powerful winds, tornado warnings, heavy rainfall, flooding, hail, fallen trees, damage.
Just make a playlist of your 3 life path on the boulders.
Travel conditions and disrupted services as emergency crews responded to damage and residents sought shelter during the strongest storms.
Poor Jackie's house. The river was gone.
In Illinois, the Chicago area experienced some of the strongest impacts as a fast-moving line of thunderstorms across the region. Tornado warnings were issued for several communities, while powerful wind gusts damaged roofs, uprooted trees, and brought down utility lines. Flooded streets complicated travel, and residents in several suburbs reported property damage as emergency crews responded to hazardous conditions and widespread debris across the area. extensive damage as strong winds moved through residential and commercial areas. Trees fell across roads and onto power infrastructure, leaving many customers without electricity. Several neighborhoods experienced flooding after intense rainfall, while officials warned residents to avoid unnecessary traffic. Utility crews and local emergency responders began clearing debris and assessing damage across affected communities as conditions improved.
Grew up in Oklahoma for part of my life. Never seen a tornado. For the rest of my life, I lived in Illinois. Never seen a tornado until 2 weeks ago. It was getting hit as bad. And today.
Other parts of northern and central Illinois also experienced severe thunderstorms, with damaging winds, heavy rain, hail, and additional tornado warnings. Communities farther from Chicago faced localized flooding, where rainfall overwhelmed drainage systems and saturated roads. Agricultural areas were also affected, with strong winds damaging crops and field equipment in some locations. Officials continued monitoring new storms because additional rainfall could worsen existing flooding concerns. Experienced major impacts across the Northwest, particularly Lake and Porter counties near the Illinois border. Powerful thunderstorms produced damaging winds, heavy rainfall, fallen trees, and widespread power interruptions. Some communities reported flooding on roads and around public facilities, while emergency crews worked to remove debris and restore access. The storm warning also prompted tornado warnings, increasing concern for residents already dealing with severe weather.
Okay.
Mga pisan, mabalay. CR ba yung puntahan yung mga inana? Ano yung puntahan sa CR? Yan yung puntahan sa sign? Kaya naman.
South Bend and surrounding areas of Oklahoma
Bakit divider?
also experienced strong thunderstorms, tornado winds, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall. Cleanup crews began assessing fallen trees and other damage after the storms passed. Roads in some locations became difficult to navigate because of debris and water. Residents were urged to remain cautious while utility workers addressed outages and officials monitored additional storms moving across the region.
Said a lot of the trees is damaged. That was here since I was a kid. All of this been here since I was a kid. I've never seen it like this before.
Power outages became one of the largest problems across North America, affecting more than 500,000 customers at the height of the event. Outages were concentrated around the Chicago area, northwest Indiana, and other communities along the storm path. Downed trees and damaged utility lines were major causes. Restoration efforts continued as crews inspected infrastructure, removed hazards, and worked to reconnect affected customers.
Yawa sa puntahan. Wala dun siya di holiday dad. Wala yung klase. No class. No class. August 14, August 21, August 31. There will be no class and office transaction. August 14, 21 or 31.
Disrupted transportation across both states. Chicago airports temporarily halted flights during the most dangerous conditions, while delays continued afterward as airlines worked through disruptions. Flooded roads, fallen trees, debris, and damaged traffic infrastructure created additional problems for drivers. Public facilities and community events were also affected in some areas, with cancellations and closures reported as officials
August 14, tarong Friday, wala klase. August 21, wala klase next week. August 31, National Heroes Day, August 31.
We are stuck here. See more tree damage, good Robert Jackson's, see the tree from this.
Officials across Illinois and Indiana continued assessing the full extent of damage while residents began cleanup and recovery. The main concerns remained additional thunderstorms, renewed flooding, unstable trees, downed power lines, and difficult traffic conditions. Emergency agencies urged people to stay away from damaged infrastructure and flooded roads. Utility crews remained active, while weather officials monitored the possibility of further severe storms across both states.
This is all here, ranging 235, 236, get into a lot. So yeah, maybe a helicopter inside. But happy anniversary to my husband, 42 years.
Excellence in kids club belief expel. Excellent with the clam unto the mother's lungs. Excellent of the clam expel. Excellent not expel. Data Hilo now joins us back on the line for her report in Pangasinan Province. Mary, are you with us?
Yeah.
Di man ba sa Manila, de? Glad, ako ba? Glad sa Manila. 100,000 families and Pangasinan affected by flood. Ako yung kasi sila makapuan sa Davao. Hindi, ang leptospirosis, ano?
Oo.
Sa ato?
Toyo.
Toyo? Sige, kung toyo, te. Ay, toyo. Ay. Guys, isa lang ka toyo! What is yours? Ano na ito? Wala na. Aha! Dahil mo na, gusto ka? Wala. Asa? Wala. Ay, pila na yan? Hindi kasi ako 50 dito rin yung 50. Walang pa 50 yan. Gananda yan. Just wait. Ate kay kuya. Sara nakatuyo ay. Napamang gamit tuyo na rin. Ah! Ay, natag na lang dito na bilang ate. Kana lamin na siya show. Bago na nga ano na mo. Bago na mo na nga dresses.
Lahat-lahat mo na iring ninyo.
Uy!
Ay, juhaw din yan.
Toyo, ay kuhan. Lato na ako bagod. Ay, from Ghana dito ako.
Hoy! Kaya ba't alam kayo mag-Marcos lagi? Marcos na mo na. Ayun na lang yan. Ayun, mag-inanas. Ay, sniper mo yan.
Asan po? Sir!
Atong sniper mo tag-ibalik yan mo. Di yan tag-ibalik.
Ay, nadako kay to gasolina. Market sa gasolina.
Pag-auli na kwarto, manakit rin na rin. Bukat kayo. 200 kilos na ito. Wala? 200 kilos.
Ilan daw ang kilos?
Pag-bulad. Ngayon pag-bulad.
Kana! Dala na!
Uy! Kung paano, crush na ko. Crush ka na mo na.
Abnormal nga si Claire.
Kasi pag na, ikaw daw, yung mga nagkuhan, mga na amo si Marcos. Hindi ka mo laban, tingnan mo dito mo laban.
Wala ba dyan na sila? Ikikwarta man.
Tingali ka matanggal niya.
Di ba, ikaw ka, o kamo yung nas Marcos niya, nakay-field 80 lang bulan, hindi ka laban Marcos.
Oo, bisan pag malay yan.
Tingnan ko, laban ko eh.
Tanaw na magmali. Oo. Ipinsa dyan ka. Tanggal mga dito. Tanggal mga klaro na eh.
Hi, Glenda! Thank you so much, Glenda!
Asa magkakitag trabaho ron, dagkong pundo.
Yes, every day we have a live here inside.
Kaya legal shots ko, kaya sila dun may kumulya.
Oo, laban ko.
Oo.
Diyan, man ka naka-income.
Diyan man ka naka-income, diyan man ka naka-ilhan. Wala pa na nailan ni Kulkas.
Where are you from, Glenda?
Uy, laban na niya. Agbay rin na preso.
Oo. Basta pag mali. Basta dila sila.
Mamahal man ang bugas karon ng makwa. Kurang po po kaya.
Lamit na dinig no. No, wala ka magkang.
Ay mo, ma'am.
Baka.
Ano?
Nagkakyo sa baka.
Good morning, young.
Ay, ngayon sa ma'am. Ma'am, ngayon sa ma'am. Ahaw.
What happened just this week that has scientists watching closely? One of the fault responsible for all of this relates to producing several years. Let's go back to Wales history. On June the 8th, at 7:37 in the morning local time, a massive magnitude 7. 8 earthquakes struck the massive significance. The southern Philippine region, the Philippines, geological Nigeria, and seismology,
Kami kayo paminaw. Pero Rubin Panilla ba? Discovery na niya. Paminaw.
a major ice structure on the long list of
Nagkanahan ko paminaw sa Rubin. Oh, dyan kayo ba? Nga Tagalog yun ba?
Asa ka, boy? Baboy, asa ka, asa ka. Para uwang.
Ay, ma'am. Naha sa ma'am.
magnitude 7.
Ay, ma'am.
8 correct. Genuinely announced. This was among the most destructive earthquakes to strike the Philippines in 5 decades. It ranked as the strongest earthquake recorded anywhere on the planet that we were to. The earthquake killed at least 106 people, injured over
Nagbaktas-baktas.
Nagpaspas-paspas mo ito kahapon. Sayang ko rin.
Oh, sa oras ah. Mga alauna. Oh, paulit na to. Gikan mo ng umpra. Nagpa-drop na dyan sa mic 1. Alauna. Ulit daw si Captain. Siya na yan. Baktas, tinita. Alam mo nga. Palit yan tolls daw. Nagbabayan din po. Break my chain. Kabalay. Ha? Break my chain. Break po niya. Kabalay niya ba? Kanina yung bagay yung chain. Break po? Ay, dito
Huwag
dito.
ipakita na iya ko.
Kalashin na ito? Dito sa kondo? Ayan, repair.
It has a well-documented history of producing genuinely catastrophic earthquakes. This same general fossil can generate a magnitude 8, the earthquake back in 1918 with a magnitude 8. Zero earthquake in 1976. It was one of the deadliest earthquakes in the country's modern history.
Wala, rangin ito.
Virginia, okay. United States of Virginia.
Context is exactly why the agency moved immediately to extended monitoring.
Yan na yan, sarili na.
The moment this
Bulat-bulat sa
magnitude
Mura din siya, gabawin nyo gahapon man. Nakita lang mo ng bakta. Nag-motor man me. Tumi man siya na. Mura din ka lang, gabawin nyo mga lumagi. Gabawin nyo ba? Taga-diri na.
Salang niyo te.
Oo.
Madumong niya.
Uy, tumi, asa ka. Nag-ibsagya na ko.
the works began live in aftershocks at a pace that surprised even experienced psychologists. It roughly 24 hours.
Bakit wala pa dyan to?
By June 3 days after the mission, the total had reached over 3,000. By June 15th, just a week after the earthquake, the walls had reported more than 6,100 separate aftershocks. By June 19th, less than 2 weeks after the original event, the cumulative total had surpassed 8,500 aftershocks, including 3 separate events that themselves reached magnitude 6. 0 or stronger, with the largest reaching magnitude 6.
Ako makambal, bigyan kayo kumulong tubig.
I want to explain why this case of aftershock
bigyan kayo kumulong tubig.
because it points to something specific about how this particular aircraft occurred. According to reporting that included commentary from Lucy Jones, a non-seismologist and former long-term science advisor for the United States Geological Survey. A truly surprised researchers tracking the original happening is the hyperactive behavior of the aftershock sequence following
Ito itong ibalita nga, kontrolo na daw ang tubig.
under normal circumstances. Earthquakes that originate from deep internal fractures or even subduction zones
Kumbaga, marami baligyan na po daw ba?
typically remain circulated.
Hindi na ito gamit.
Typically suppress the little mechanical technique that generates a robust aftershock sequence. The fact that this particular line still produced such a persistent aftershock
aftershock sequence, researchers have direction and stress through this dimension concerning the purpose of city. An energetic activity event this depth usually produced, which is exactly the kind of finding that puts a monitoring against the by volts in the extended heightened state of attention and initial disaster response unit. Seismologists have also used a well-established framework for the noise that developed by the Japanese seismologist Chris Kitchen. The Moore's law describes the general, statistically reliable pattern by which aftershock frequencies are observed from nation. And researchers noted that the magnitude 6. 5 aftershock reported on June 26th actually refers to a comparable relationship with predicted from an event of this scale and this far removed from the original condition. The kind of agreement to observe behavior and establish a seismological theory gives researchers great confidence in their own forecast from the surface, even as the sheer scale of activity itself continues to be described as unusual. So let's bring this up because this is exactly the analysis of this one specifically. On August the 5th, nearly 2 full months after the elimination, and three aftershocks were registered by both Collins and the USGS geological survey, with USGS placing the depth of roughly 62 kilometers, which is significant because that depth explains why the tsunami elevation is particularly which struck the same general area as the original tsunami generating nation. And if you have to understand the general context, this earthquake struck the rim because it was genuinely a difficult impact setting. This magnitude 6. 3 of them hit while displaced survivors were gathered on the site just to cash subsidies. Exactly the kind of assistance program, so specifically to help residents begin rebuilding their homes. Thankfully, no casualties were reported from this particular event. But rather than moving through the direct region disaster, reporting indicating over 95,000 cubic meters of I want to walk you all through what happened in the days immediately surrounding August 5th event as well, because it fits the same pattern of continued significant activity that defined this entire sequence. Aftershock struck the Philippine Sea in the Legazpi on the evening of July the 29th, followed by March 25. Great earthquake struck the Philippine Sea in Davao on July the 28th. The immediate aftermath of the August 5th magnitude 6. 3 additional aftershocks continued, including magnitude 5. 2 aftershock reported that same afternoon in magnitude 5. 6 aftershock that struck the following day on August the 6th. The tsunami is seen roughly 110 kilometers from John Santos. That August 6th event was located approximately 19 kilometers from the epicenter of the separate magnitude 6. 2 earthquakes that had struck the same general area back on July 14th, showing the mean level seismic activity along this fault system has continued at a steady, ongoing pace for its entire time span since the original nation, and totally I also want to touch on the broader regional impact of this sequence, because the June main shock's effects were not confined entirely to the Philippines. The earthquake also caused damage, one death, and several injuries on this immediately power islands of the Sulawesi and neighboring Indonesia, starting just after the earthquake in magnitude 7. The structure along this fault system still produce meaningful damaging effects on population centers well beyond the immediate epicenter. Let me explain why the Voice continues to treat this sequence with such sustained seriousness, because I think it goes beyond simply cataloging individual aftershocks as occurred. The agency has consistently advised the public not to re-enter any structure showing visible signs of damage or personal security, recognizing that buildings weakened by the initial main shock can remain structurally genuinely dangerous, even during a moderate aftershock that otherwise poses no threat to structure. This is a pattern pilots scientists have documented.
intensity using their own Philippine nuclear intensity scale, finding the highest reported intensity which was described as disruptive, specifically in July Central City. Ground shaking was still detectable at a much lower intensity, as far away as Dubai, Lady Pass. Because it played a genuine significant role in allowing casualties along the coastline, despite the scale of the ocean. Five-Ops issued a tsunami warning for destructive tsunami covering the coastlines of Sangani, Davao Occidental, Tawi-Tawi, Sulu,
Basta igangan yung ay grabe.
Sangani, Sibugan, Sultan Kudarat, and Sabah.
Ano mo kayo mga separate? Ipakasa ako sa mga gawang
Narigigino ko.
Ano? Ang seryoso ko, ano naman gusulat?
Asa?
Ang sige din, hindi naman naganda-ganda ng bata. Malapit.
Di lang, may katulog ni Baboy.
Keep their tsunami evacuation knowledge current rather than treating it as a one-time response specific to the original tsunami. Precisely because the underlying Cotabato Trench remains capable of generating significant additional damage. And also, a secondary hazard that emerged in the weeks following the invasion, because it is exactly the kind of compounding risk that a disaster of this scale tends to produce beyond the initial shape of the tsunami. In the days after the earthquake, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources aerial surveys identified 93 separate landslides across the region.
Anak ni Kuan, anak ni Dini? Atong wala na geron? Ay, di na po na kami anak ko ito eh.
Atong anak atong pati ito namatay ang anak ay inahan namatay sa Corinthian.
Ay, kanak siya. Ay, hi Stephanie. Oh wow, you're from Virginia also.
Together, explain real regulations and coordinates 2 months after devastating magnitude 7. 8 earthquakes struck
Your neighbors.
the Cotabato Trench that was genuinely active,
There.
producing persistent
Si Glenda o si ano diba? Si Stephanie di kay. They are neighbors din. Kaya sa taga Virginia.
The event that struck while displaced survivors gathered for continued disaster assistance. Scientists remain on alert, not because any single aftershock signals an imminent, larger event with certainty, but because the historical behavior of this exact fault system, having already produced magnitude 8, 0 to magnitude 8, 3 earthquakes in the past century, combined with the unusually sustained and energetic nature of this specific aftershock sequence, has the possibility of continued significant seismic activity, including potentially
Thank you, Steph.
be ruled out. And Five-Ops continues advising residents across the affected region to maintain genuine earthquake and tsunami
Yeah.
preparedness.
I'm eating.
Assuming danger has really passed.
I'm eating dairy milk.
For anybody with family,
Dairy milk chocolate. My favorite.
the message from this update is straightforward. Continued caution around any structure still showing visibility of essential. Moderate aftershock striking an already weak building carries real collapse risk even at a magnitude otherwise caused real concern. Displaced residents and relief organizations operating in the region should is exactly the kind of information because they will be prepared.
Hindi, nagpamulong.
It's good. Mga people travel here.
Ang taon mong kalaban.
Medyo ka malmutang siya, no? Di ka makasigarilyo, no? Wala mo ano. Sabi ko, kasigarilyo ba sa ko?
Nandiyan, pasol. Magangga daw.
Hindi na? Hindi na siya yung client. Wow! We are back with another Chelsea Living Vlog past year. So for today's vlog, very special because even in our client has para sa bahay natin sa Carpar. Hopefully this video yes, you've heard it right? I'm on the telephone every time we focus on but so it's once in a while meron din tayo kung feeling pag-open ko sa studio. So that I just can't wait for that. Before ko lang video na and that's a flyer. So yun yung isa sa mga hinihintay ko na mag-tapos para kapag-stay na ako sa Fairfax. Yung bed frame na anyway, kasi may bed frame na kung bilis ko naman. So that's gonna be the but I'm also excited. This is gonna be my first time na mag-dress na TV sa mama, washing machine. Basically, first time na really excited to buy those items. At the least you will love it. And by the way, kasi kakagaling lang natin ng Thailand water. Let's have a call sa mga pasalubong na ibibigay ng Thailand. So this is cream puff. Milk puff, this one is strawberry, chocolate, and this one also, this is one of my favorites na snacks that I love. This is the boba. So basically, it's a boba coated with chocolate. This is really good. And another snack discovery na ano namin sa Taiwan is this one. So this is scallion donut biscuit. Yung biscuit na flavor is this is really, really good, guys. So sobrang kasi vitamins, may alan, and then yung spring onion or the scallion, pinaan talaga siyang flavor. Pero may isang flavor dito, and kinda nagsisi ako kung bakit gusto na yung binili ko. So this is the second flavor, it's chocolate biscuit. Dark chocolate siya. So, this, sayang kasi, tatlo lang binili namin ito. Isa kay mama, isa sa amin ni Carl, tapos isa sa mga tapos, meron pa pala akong hindi nabigay kay mama. Galing kong shake siya. Nalimutan ko ibigay ko. This is like a yogurt snack. Like a yogurt candy. Tapos may dates siya sa loob. It's dates coated with yogurt. And this is really good. Ano pa ba ang mga pasalubong na sa kanila? Ito. Ito galing pa itong Canada. Binigay ng pizza ko sa Canada. Sobrang dami na namin pamilya sa bahay. And then, binigyan ko din ng sapatos si mama kasi binigyan ko siya ng olive cloud pero white siya. So, binigyan ko siya ng black shoes with a New Balance. Kasi this is so good. Black shoes. Kasi meron na siyang white. Yun lang. Yun yung mga pasalubong ko na dadalhin. Tapos ito, mga ref magnets na nakulat ko. Finally, mag-figures ko kay Carl. Yeah, these are the pasalubong. Hindi ko po gusto na dadalhin kayo. Susunod lang ako ng video. Or nalang ko sa sundahin. Tawag ko may errands ko na. Thank you so much. Finally here, guys. So the reason why I'm here is to visit Russian Korea. Finally here.
Yan no!
Hindi ako mag-vlog, guys. At first stop natin.
Ako bitawag ba sa Facebook niya?
We need a 60 pitch na TV. Alam niyo, pag nag-travel ako, hindi ako nililito.
Yato niya halo black ron.
Nasa pack ng camera ni Carlos, yung vlog cam natin.
Yato mo, order?
Ugma karon, pwede po karon. Halo black.
Pwede naman ako. Dahil sinasabi na sa book, may possibility nakakalalas. Mahal pala ng TV. Nag-asi ko yung mga categories na bigla. Yung mura na category. O yung
Sabado, kumuha to na mga pantay. Sabado.
TV. Kasi din ko marami na brand ko.
Kalo sa yata ng halo black.
Skyward. Pero okay.
Halo black o ka ng ano katong sand pa. Ha, Sabado pa?
So, tinita mo ng TV. Very much coach with French.
Di ko, andyan na itong kama, di kay mabuga-bugan to da. Ah, si Kuya Empoy na? Si Empoy? Kuya Empoy?
Maganda din sa kaso, it's one door lang siya. Fantasy ko yung tulo. Same feature lang.
Yun yung sa gabi, pwede man ito sa kwaon.
Nagbenta na siya ng mga ice candy and ice water. Tsaka ice. Now, mabilis na ako nag-decide sa washing machine. Sa bata niya. Next is gas and electricity. Pero this one is full shadow gas. Tapos perfect pa yung size niya sa bata. 60 plus.
500 lang.
Paisal lang sa paisal lang. Paisal 500 lang sa Kato Black. Eh mag-uota dito. Paisal lang sa anak 500 ka Black. Ito follow na ang sunod.
Thank you. Dito na mga subo ko. Ayan. Tapos ngayon, they're trying to figure out paano mag-chopstick. O, ganyan guys. Ganyan. Wow! Ilaw na. Kumaon na. So today na nakaschedule yung delivery ng mga clients of Type. Papunta na sila dito. So excited. And by the way pala, bumili na din ako ng mga kitchenwares para kay mama. Some of the items na binili ko, yung iba kasi nandun na sa lababo kasi pinugasan na namin because we will use it today. So far, yun yung mga nabili ko na kakailangan namin dito sa bahay. Hindi na? Wait, Tita is here.
Have a great day, Glenda. Thank you for stopping by here.
Sabi ko, bilhin ko ng TV para at least legit na talaga na nakikita na ako ng mga sa TV. Showtime ka lang gusto niyong panikurin. Balik natin yan! Balik natin! Balik natin yung TV, guys! Ito yung pinili ko ng TV pala, guys. So, sabi ko, diba, parang Skyward, pinili ko kasi parang mas mura siya. Kaso, turn to the specs, okay na to siya. And then, the price also. Electric kettle is here. So, gagamitin na namin ko now na nagpapakulo kami ng water para magamit namin yung mga bagong kitchenwares, like mga plato and all. So, unbox ko na to, guys. At ayun na, nagamit na namin yung bagong kutsilyo. Thank you, sir. That's that. Ito, nabili ko. Stainless steel. Tadaan! Okay, gamitin na natin to agad na. Para pas-pas lang ang pag-init ng water. Kaya
Ay, buisit! Nalagit ka!
Very
Kasi tambok, grabe ito nakatambok mo. Maka-hurt ka ha!
Tubig yung lalagay. Actually, pwede na ka
Saan man daw? Para sa iyo ito ng ano black?
Ito yung napili ko.
Dili daw, ma?
LG, baka naman.
Ha?
And then, yung gas range.
Alanganin pa.
Yung La Hermania. Pero sabi ng salesperson, si Elba, yung feature niya, the same siya ng feature sa high-end version ni La Hermania. Kaso, mas mura ko. So, that's why, ano yung pinili ko. This is the current situation.
Isabay niya ang balaspon.
Tapos, dyan siya
Yan sila kuya, kung ano mo. Sabado sa gabi eh.
One take over ni mama. Sige, ano sila? Bahala ka dyan. Kasi ano, titignan ko muna yung rec ko, yeah? Ang yapak. Kasi sa mga nakakakab ba? Ano siya? Kukuha mo na nakakakab? Likid? Ano na siya likid? La la la
De, awa na ko, de. Awa yung wall, de, oh. Dad, tiles magkaroon na, de, or ano? Guys, I need to end the video. Bye everybody. Bye Uncle Moggers, Glenda, hi Stephanie. Huh? TCL ilang TV oh. Ay, dire ka duwa ko na maglinog uy, mayabo ba iraw ang TV.
Nalagay na namin yung gas range dito guys. Tapos, washing machine here. So, nagpapalay namin. Kasi hindi pa namin siya ma-rinse sa faucet because we need to buy a new electric book compatible with this one. Basically, ganyan na siya. Now, i-remove. So, hindi pa namin siya ma-rinse sa faucet.
Gani mo. Oh, magani tayo sa
Nalagay na namin yung gas range dito guys. Tapos, ang washing machine here. So, kasi hindi pa namin siya makamit sa faucet because we need to buy a new electric book compatible with this one. Basically, ganyan na siya.
Kasi bata pa rin eh. Gani. Bye guys! Happy Wednesday.